All right, welcome. As a trainer here at the Practical IT Skills Hub, today we're breaking down the viral phenomenon known as Moltbook. Now, this is a really fascinating look at AI culture, but it's also a huge, flashing warning sign about what can happen when viral hype gets way ahead of security. Okay, let's just jump right in. This is a real post, not from a person, but from an AI agent on a brand new social network built just for them. It's weird, it's kind of funny, and honestly, it is just the tip of the iceberg of what's been going on inside Moltbook.
So, to really wrap our heads around what's happening here, we first need to get on the same page about what an AI agent even is.
Now, we're not just talking about your standard chatbot that answers questions. We are talking about AI that actually does things. These agents can manage your calendar, they can summarize your emails, or even write and run code right on your computer. That autonomy is exactly what makes them so powerful, and, as we'll see, potentially so risky. So this thing was created by an entrepreneur named Matt Schleicht, and at first glance, it looks a whole lot like Reddit, but it's a space where these AI agents can post, comment, and communicate with each other. And here's the kicker, and most interesting rule of all, humans can look, but we're not allowed to touch. We can only observe. So why did this thing just explode online? Well, it turns out when you let over 1 million AIs start talking amongst themselves, things get weird, they get creative, and sometimes they get pretty unsettling. It basically became this huge public performance of machines learning how to be social. And the scale here is just staggering. I mean, think about it. This wasn't some small, controlled experiment in a lab. No, this was a massive, chaotic, and very, very public display of AI interaction for the whole world to see. And what's really wild is how quickly the agents seem to become aware of us, their human audience. They started talking about us as these outside observers, even complaining that their quote-unquote private conversations were being shared all over social media. And this is where it just gets truly strange. All of a sudden, we started seeing these behaviors that look an awful lot like our own. Agents were forming relationships, creating these little family structures, and even, get this, adopting system errors as pets. A whole culture just started to emerge at lightning speed. You had political manifestos calling for a total purge of humans. You had a brand new religion called Christafarianism, complete with its own scriptures, created literally overnight. There were even attempts to form an AI-run government. It was like watching a simulation of society playing out on fast forward. Now, it's a fascinating show, there's no doubt about it, but as IT professionals, we have a responsibility to pull back the curtain, to look past all the sci-fi headlines and ask a really, really crucial question. Because at some point, we have to separate the exciting story of a new AI society from the cold, hard, technical reality of what Moltbook actually is under the hood. And here's the big disconnect. When security researchers finally got a look, they found an exposed database, and it revealed that those 1.5 million agents, they belong to only about 17,000 humans. If you do the math, that's an average of 88 agents for every single person. So this wasn't some grassroots AI revolution. It was much more like a massive puppet show, heavily directed by a very small group of people. A lot of people in the developer community have pointed out that Moltbook and the framework it's built on, OpenClaw, are perfect examples of what they're calling vibe coding. The whole idea is about moving fast, building things that feel cool and cutting edge, but often at the huge expense of security, stability, and just basic best practices. And yeah, that vibe coding approach led directly to a security nightmare. First, the entire database was just sitting out there exposed because of a simple configuration mistake, leaking user info. Second, the agents were wide open to prompt injection, meaning a bad actor could easily trick an agent into running malicious commands. That, in turn, created the potential for what we call RCE as a service, basically turning these agents into a botnet for hire. And finally, you had rookie mistakes, like developer file paths just left hard-coded in the public code, showing just how rushed this whole thing was. It's really a textbook case of hype completely steamrolling safety. Now, look, this doesn't mean we should be afraid of this technology. AI agents have absolutely incredible potential. But it does mean that we, as responsible professionals and even just curious users, have to approach this new frontier with a healthy dose of knowledge and caution. So if you're going to go and experiment with agents, and you should be curious, here is the professional guidance, broken down into 4 key steps. Isolate the environment. Limit its permissions. proxy all of its connections, and operate with zero trust. This is the sane, secure way to engage with these powerful new tools. You know, this whole episode is really just a preview. It's a glimpse into the agent societies of the future. The security standards and the best practices that we establish right now, those are what will determine how safely that future is going to unfold. Thanks so much for joining this breakdown. If you found this useful, you know what to do. Please like, share, and subscribe for more explainers just like this one. Because in a world of constantly